Were you alone when you flew to Europe? Contact Kelly Cap? Did any Capwell offer you any monetary or any other kind of recompense for aiding Kelly? Okay. If you want to take the rap for him, fine. Cheerio, old chap. Oh, well, well, well. Why did I know you two would be lurking here?
You know, you people have seriously wounded him and you keep harassing him. What is wrong with you?
You know, there's been an interesting turn of events here, Cece. He just issued a statement, your chauffeur there, detailing the money and the terms in which you were to pay him for aiding Kelly Campbell. When she was a fugitive, yes.
Oh, get off it. I'd like to see that. I haven't read any good fiction lately.
You're lying, Keith. Jeffrey wouldn't have said one word.
How can you be so sure? What are you holding over this guy that he'd risk his neck for? Well, never mind. Time I'm finished with him, I'll be implicating everybody in your family.
Why don't you just get out of the way so we can see him, huh?
Sure. You have a right to do that. I wouldn't deprive anybody of their rights.
Thank you. You're all heart. The wrong place.
Jeffrey?
Get out. I have no interest in what you have to say.
Oh, come on, Jeffrey. I think you would...
Look, you don't care about anyone but yourselves and your stinking Capwell dynasty.
Jeffrey, that's not fair.
C.C. Capwell's done it again. Fooled everyone and sold that sap Jeffrey Conrad down the river. The perfect scapegoat.
That is not going to happen.
Oh, but it already has, you see. Timmins is going to peg me guilty whether I like it or not.
Jeffrey, listen to me. We're going to stick by you every second. You're not going to go to jail for 1 minute, don't you understand that? You're even going to get rewarded for what you did for Kelly.
What? You think that I would accept your guilt money? Huh?
Jeffrey, we are trying very hard to thank you and to help you.
Well, I don't need your thanks. The last thing I want is any more help from the Capwells. Now, just get out and leave me alone.
Jeffrey,
Now, just get out!
I overslept. Morning.
Well, why shouldn't you? After all, you're sleeping for two. I'm just glad you've managed to get some rest, finally.
I'm sorry. Did I keep you awake, too?
No, but I noticed. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I guess it's just getting used to this place and the marriage and everything.
As long as you're not having nightmares about married life.
No, it's just so much happening lately. We haven't had much time to ourselves.
Yeah, I know. Once the family stuff is settled, then we'll take some time off together.
That'll be nice.
I'm sorry you're having trouble sleeping. I'll do my best to see you feel a little more at home here soon.
You know, this place has a real, bachelor feel to it.
Well, maybe that's because a bachelor lived here.
Yeah. I was thinking of maybe rearranging something this time.
You really mind it that much?
No, I don't mind. I'd be more comfortable.
Well, then I think you should concern yourself with things other than decor. The baby, for instance. Unless you like names like Dick and Jane, I suggest you get busy thinking of a few, huh? I'll be back later.
Have a good day.
Oh, Julia. I was supposed to meet you for dinner.
You were the one who insisted, my friend.
I'm so sorry. I went to the restaurant. I know what happened. The minute I got there, I saw Caroline. We had some words, and I left without even thinking of the reason I went to the restaurant in the first place. A little later, she came here after a few more drinks, and she blew off some steam.
You had a fight. That's good. At least you're talking to each other.
No, it's past that. I have decided to take your route.
My route.
Yeah. The same as you, I realize that I don't need anybody, okay?
Oh, Lionel, that's great. That's terrific. There's just one problem. There's a big problem. We're both liars. What are you looking at?
Just glad to see your eyes open. You had me scared yesterday, Gina. Really thought you killed yourself.
Well, I hate to disappoint you.
Listen, I may not like you very much, but I certainly don't want to see you dead.
What do you know? We agree on something.
Haley must mean an awful lot to you, that you'd take a chance like that just to see her.
I love that kid. I can't imagine what she's been through because of some depraved. I've done a lot of terrible things. And I can understand someone being pushed into almost anything. But rape? I can't begin to understand that.
And I know it helped her that you got to see her yesterday.
I think it did. But I want to be there with her. I want to watch out for her.
And can you understand how my parents feel? They just want to be with me, Gina, and make sure that I'm safe. You know, they're not the monsters you think they are. If you just put yourself in their place just for a minute, then you'd understand.
If you think you've caught me at a vulnerable moment, Kelly, you're wrong. I'm not going to hand over the tape, period. That's vile. I can't.
Yeah, so's as much demon wine as you say you drank last night.
Oh, I know it. I generally don't need that much artificial stimulus to make a total fool of myself.
I'm not sure telling someone how you really feel is foolish.
It is when that person has made it clear they don't care what you feel.
Maybe you don't believe that. You really broke his window? Okay.
I can't believe I did that. I mean, I care for him. Why do I do such stupid things?
Well, I suppose you told him that too last night, huh?
Told him what?
Well, how much you care about him.
Actually, I'm not sure what I said. It's a blur.
Well, you're in love with the man, Caroline. I don't see any use in denying it.
How come you know so much?
Well, I guess there was a time I hated you just the same way you hate Lionel right now. It's the flip side of love. Listen, Alice will come around in her own time, hopefully. But you can't let your chance for happiness slip away while you're waiting.
Who would ever have thought after everything we went through that you and I would end up such good friends?
Stranger things would happen. Go for him, Caroline. He'd be good for you, and you'd be good for him, too.
Exhibit A.
I don't understand.
I heard the glass break started to come down, heard you and Caroline's discussion, and figured you better be left alone.
I think anyone within a mile of the house heard a better part of that discussion.
I didn't find it a bit amusing.
I didn't. I think you're both acting like children.
Really?
You've been treating Caroline like dirt.
Listen, I don't need either of you to clear my behavior. I made a very simple, logical, moral decision.
You always said that people who claim to be moral are the ones you never can trust. Remember that?
Lionel, I don't excuse my mother's behavior. But can't you admit you're lonely?
Listen, I don't need Caroline in my life. Life is a very difficult and complex thing, and there are no easy cure-all solutions. And the longer you live, the more you realize that, all right?
I don't think you know your own family at all.
Of course I do.
No, you and Eden were brought up like two little princesses. All the bloodletting was done someplace where you couldn't see it. You think your family's loyal and trustworthy, and they'll stand by you through thick and thin. Cece stands there with his checkbook in hand, willing to pay off anybody that gets in the way of his little princess's happiness.
Gina, they care about me. You think that's wrong?
No, I think it's wrong that Cece's willing to bulldoze anybody to get you out of a jam.
And you wouldn't do the same for Haley or Brandon? You just did it yesterday. I admire that kind of love.
You admire me?
I admire what you did.
No, but you don't admire Gina. Because all the Capwells are supposed to hate Gina. Well, you and your family have no idea what I've been through.
And what do you think my life has been like for the last year, thanks to you? Gina, I know it hasn't been easy for you, and you haven't had the things that my family has had. Now, I won't deny that money makes things easier.
It sure does. You know, those straight white teeth and your rosy complexion cost your family a pretty penny. But you still think the best things in life are free because your family's always paid for everything. Well, lucky you. I don't care for much for myself. But for Brandon...
I know. And I know how devastated you were when he was torn away from you.
What, me? No, I'm heartless.
No, you're not. You love him very much, and he loves you. I know how terrible it must have been for him.
He shouldn't have had to go through that.
No. Daddy was wrong to do it. But then again, it's not much different from what you're doing to him right now. Gina, doesn't it seem pointless to keep this pain going in this vicious circle? There's got to be another way out of this, to start a new beginning. That's all I want. And for Haley and Brandon's sake, I would think maybe you'd want a chance at it too.
Who sent for you? I didn't ask to see you.
Jeffrey, you owe it to yourself to calm down and listen to reason.
Yeah, said the spider to the fly.
I did not sell you out.
Yes, you did.
I intend to see to it that you walk away from this as free as a bird.
I'm sure. After I've spent about 20 years in prison.
You will not go to prison.
Oh, don't tell me. You've decided to shoot for the death penalty, right?
Jeffrey, we deflected the guilt away from my father to you for a reason. Namely because he's guilty and you're not. Sure, you may have helped Kelly escape from the authorities, but we can say you were acting under orders, that you didn't know the situation. It would have been much more difficult to get my father off.
Of course. Oh, but why didn't I think of that? I mean, I can always call my friend the governor, or a couple of other gentlemen I know in Washington, D.C. I mean, I have millions for my defense, whereas your father is a nobody they can just throw to the wolves, right?
You're not giving me a chance.
I gave you a chance. That was my mistake. Now, you're going to make sure that I go to prison for a nice long stay while all the dirt is swept under the rug, huh? Well, think again. You're no longer my lawyer. You're fired. So get out of my room, now!
I'm not going until you listen to me.
Hey, look, man, why don't you just shoot me now and be done with it, huh? You know, I'd almost forgotten when I was out there on the road with Kelly. She nearly had me convinced that you were half decent, humane people. But it took you to open my eyes again to the vile, corrupt family that the Capwells have always been.
If you're trying to wound me with this verbal abuse, you're wasting your time. I've heard it all before, Jeffrey. I've even said it myself. Now, we may be ruthless and decadent, but we won't desert you. For one thing, we're grateful to you. For another, Kelly won't let us. Apparently, you mean too much to her for us to walk out on you now.
Yeah, well, that's her mistake. You know, she should know by now that the only man who'd be acceptable in her life would be hand-picked by the Capwells. Now, I'm not saying that she's like the rest of you, because she's not. But clearly, she and the rest of you are a package deal, and I find the rest of the package contemptible.
Oh, Mason, I'm glad you're here. I got some good news for your client.
I'm not his client.
Yes, he is.
I'm glad you two are hitting it off so well. Here's the good news. You're getting out of the hospital today. Bad news, you're going to jail. It might sound better than yucking it up with Mason here, but Kelly will tell you it's no spa, really, you know. But you can avoid this little trip if you just implicate somebody else.
Jeffrey, I'd advise you very
Can't
strongly
you get it through
not
your
to-
stubborn skull? I don't want your advice. Now get out!
Mason. How is Haley? I was going to call, but I wasn't sure that was a good idea.
That's hard to tell. I guess these things take a lot of time to work through.
Were you in there talking to Jeffrey Conrad?
Yeah, and I must say he's one of the more stubborn clients I've ever had.
All in all, it hasn't been much of a honeymoon for you and
No, but she's been very understanding. There's a lot of adjustments we both have to make. What are you doing here? Doctor's appointment?
I'm just meeting a friend.
Well, as long as you're here, I wonder if you'd mind doing me a favor.
That depends what it is.
I have to warn you in advance, it involves working with me.
You are wrong, Lionel. It was not being unfair to me. We were in a very embarrassing situation, which I mistakenly tried to make more tolerable by having a few more drinks. Next thing you know, I'm standing on his front porch, yelling, and then I impulsively picked up a rock and threw it through his window.
Well, you were upset.
That does not excuse my behavior.
You don't need an excuse. You have apologized 1,000 times for the past. Now, everyone else has forgiven you. Why won't Lionel?
Not everyone.
Well, Alice will realize someday that the same thing the rest of us know, that you simply were a different person when you found out she was in the hospital.
You know what's amazing to me is not that anyone finds what I did despicable. I expected that. But that someone would actually make the effort to understand me.
Well, it would be stupid for any of us to hold that against you for the rest of your life. And if that's what Lionel is intent on doing, then forget about him. You don't need him. Go on with your life.
I'm not sure I can. Hey, I'm afraid that I'm going to need Lionel's forgiveness much the same way I needed yours once.
Well, let's just see what kind of man Lionel is. I'm not sure he's capable of forgiving.
Well, I guess we'll find that out, won't we, when I go back there and apologize.
Mother.
Jane, I told you I have to face him. Maybe the last thing Lionel wants is seeing me, but I'm going to go there and he's going to listen. You're nothing like me. You had everything handed to you on a silver platter while I was out on the streets looking for a way to help my family. It must seem like a lark to you. Poor people? Poor people? What are they? Like some stupid movie where people are poor, they don't have any money, but they've got all the love and the hope in the world. Well, let me tell you something. When the money's gone, the love and the hope evaporate along with it. It all boils down to survival, sweetheart. You and I have nothing in common.
Maybe we didn't growing up, Gina, but we sure do right now. We're both here, aren't we?
Yeah, well, that's where the similarity ends.
And you have the power to get us out of here.
Forget about it.
Gina, I want a chance to start a new life. I went through hell in that hospital and running and hiding for months. And for what? What am I being punished for? Because Dylan Hartley pulled a gun and tried to kill me and I stopped him.
You're barking up the wrong tree.
No, I'm not. Maybe my father wasn't fair to you, and you can't really expect my mother to be objective, but what have I ever done to you?
It was nothing personal, Kelly. Look, I'm sorry about what you went through, but there wasn't any way around it.
Well, now there is. What is the point in us spending years in prison? Gina, come on, there's got to be something you want out of life. You've got to have some dreams.
Of course I have dreams, Kelly. What do you think I am, a machine? I have dreams. I have the same dreams I had when I was a little girl. I want a home. I want people to like me. I want a man who loves me for what I am. I have the same dreams I've always had.
Well, you're not going to find those by spending your life in prison.
Doesn't make much difference. I never had a very good chance at finding that kind of happiness anyway.
Well, how could you expect to, being locked into a blackmail marriage with my father and hanging out with creeps like Keith Timmons? Can't you see how futile your life has been for the last few months, Gina? Everything you say you dream about takes love to create. And you spend your time being hated.
I know. And I am sick of it. But don't you ask me to give up the only thing I have that's worth anything. I mean, as long as I have that tape, at least I have hope.
For what? Money? As long as you've got a lot of money and no dignity, you won't have a prayer of finding what you say you want. Gina, come on. We all deserve second chances in life. You do, and so do I. Now, that's what we're really alike.
I thought I knew you. I thought you were a compassionate man.
I'd like to believe I am.
Then why won't you let yourself forgive her?
Jane, look, you don't understand one
I
single...
understand about trust and how it hurts when it's broken. But don't you see my mother has been hurt too?
If she was, she brought it on herself.
Yes, by believing in you. How many times did you tell her that nothing that she could say, nothing from her past would change the way you felt about
That was
her?
before she lied.
So your principles are so completely outrageous. You
Yes!
Fine. But now you're the only one who's lying. To me, to my mother, and even worse, to yourself. You love her, Lionel. I just hope you admit it before it's too late.
Wait, is he feeling all right? What did the doctor say?
Jeffrey's just fine. They're going to let him out any time.
All right. And, the charges against him, what, did you get those dropped?
Not exactly, not yet.
What do you mean?
Kelly, I'm doing everything I can for him.
Well, I guess he can't be in all that much trouble anyway. I mean, Mason, he's been a victim of circumstances from the beginning. Or what? Did Timmons find something else to charge him with?
Oh, you shouldn't be thinking about that, Kelly. We could have a rough road ahead of us. Come on.
Well, I have a lot of faith in my attorney.
Yeah.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey? What is the matter with him?
I told you not to worry, Kelly. Jeffrey's going to be just fine.
I'm a despicable person, Keith.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I know that now. I don't deserve to be happy.
Everybody deserves to be happy. What is this self-flagellation? This isn't like you.
No one's ever gonna love me. Why should they? I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with second-rate people like you who want to use me.
What's eating you?
You wouldn't understand.
Oh, I understand that you're despicable, that you have no compassion. What's not to understand?
I'm never gonna get what I want that way, Keith.
You're gonna get a big chunk of CC's money.
Big deal. Money. Is that all you ever think about?
Did you catch something in here?
No. You see, Keith, there's two Ginas inside of me. The good one and the bad one, and they're constantly battling it out.
Where's the good one?
You never see the good one because the bad one has always won. Not today.
So, it's the good one I'm looking at here? Tough to see the difference.
You think it's all a big joke, don't you?
Well,
It's not. I'm sick and tired of making people miserable, Keith. Don't you understand anything?
Come on! People like you and me always make other people miserable. We can't change that.
No. You're wrong. You're wrong about me, and I'm not going to listen to this stuff anymore. Dave. Little Gina Blake. She's going to do something she's never done.
Wish you wouldn't have tried hanging from the bars. Oh, come on. What are you looking at me like that for? What are you raving about here? You know what you're doing? You're scaring me. What's this about?
How could I expect you to understand? I want you to call up Cece. I want you to get Cece, Sophia, Mason, and Brandon. Get them over here as soon as possible.
What for? A seance? A party? What?
No. I'm going to end this thing. Once and for all.
Mr. Conrad, I'm Julia Wainwright. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may.
I'm not interested.
Well, we won't get very far like that, will we?
Mason Capel sent you here, right?
Mr. Conrad, I'm not going to deny that Mason told me something about your case. However, I think you need representation. The charges filed against you are very serious.
Yeah, they are, courtesy of the Capwells.
I think that the Capwells are on your side. How long have you worked for them?
Why?
Well, let's just say I may know this family a little better than you do.
Really? Well, then you must know that they have a history of allowing others to take the blame. Allowing others to suffer, even die, without any help whatsoever. You know, the Capwells have... I don't think there's any point in going on with this. My mind is made up.
Mr. Conrad, I don't think that you're in a position to refuse their offer.
I don't want your legal services. Can I make myself any clearer than that?
No.
Good. Then go back to Mason and tell him I can find my own attorney.
He's a very angry young man.
To say the least.
He's not very fond of your family either.
No, it's odd. He won't even listen when I try to explain.
Did you set him up?
Temporarily, and only on paper. I wouldn't have done it if I weren't sure that I could get him off.
Did you tell him that?
Yeah, I told him. I'm not sure he heard me, but I told him.
I don't know. I think it's something else. I mean, the way that he talks about all of you, this is all out of proportion.
He's just terrified about going to prison.
I think it's something deeper and darker than that.
Hello, Julia.
Hi, Victoria.
Am I interrupting something?
No, not at all. Excuse me. I have to get back to my office.
We haven't finished this discussion.
I'll be in my office until 6.
Look, I made us some lunch. I figured it's a beautiful day. We can go to the park and have a picnic, okay? Why? Was that a bad idea?
No. No, I'm just surprised, that's all.
Well, look, if you got a lot of work to do,
No, I'm
we'll do
finished.
some other...
I'm finished. I'm yours for the rest of the day.
Oh, great.
I have an idea. Why don't we take the picnic home and have it there?
Okay, sounds good.
The time has come, sweetheart. I want you to dig up our treasure.
Okay, you say so. Really?
Yes. Yeah, I just want you to make sure that Keith doesn't trick you into giving it to him.
Okay, but when I get it, where do you want me to put it?
I want you to bring it here to me.
And I get to come and see you today?
You sure do. But the thing is, you have to make sure that you hide it, so no one knows what it is. Do you think you can manage that?
Yep, and I know just the way.
I knew I could count on you, sweetheart. I can't wait to see you.
Can't wait to see you, Mom. Bye.
Hey, son. Why don't you go put your coat on while you take a little trip downtown?
Why do you think Gina wants to see us?
Probably another vicious ultimatum.
You think possibly she's ready to give over the tape?
I don't know. I saw her yesterday. She was just as evil and cold-hearted as she ever was. I wouldn't get your hopes up too much.
Brandon, come on, tell me how to go.
Carolyn.
Hello, Warren. I'd like to talk to your father if he's here.
Well, that's such a good idea right now.
Come in, Caroline.
Lionel, first I would like to pay for the window I broke last night.
Not since I fixed it myself.
Yeah, I gave him something to do for the first time.
Well, I still intend to apologize for my behavior last night. It was totally uncalled for.
Am I to take it that you don't mean what you said last night?
As far as I can remember, I meant what I said. I'm ashamed to say that what I drank fogged my brain, and I'm not too clear. And the rock throwing, I'm terribly embarrassed about that.
Well, you didn't have to come all the way over here to say that. I accept your apology. What are you doing, Jane?
I'm moving out.
Jane?
Well, I guess that's your prerogative, isn't it?
Thank you. And thank you for everything you've done for me. I think the time that I've spent here has been the best time of my life. Until now.
You leaving with her? Don't start on me, okay?
Look, I care about you.
Yeah?
That's why I'm trying to get through to you, Dad. Look, when I first got back here, I didn't like Caroline. I didn't want her in this house. I resented the fact that she was replacing Mom in your eyes. But then I remembered something you told me 1,000 times. You don't get that many shots at happiness in life. Remember that? It's about time you start to follow some of your own advice. Do something.
Where are you going?
Do something you taught me a long time ago. Help a lady with her suitcase.
That's funny. I could have sworn I had a leather chair over there with a table by it.
Yes, you did, but I moved it. I think it looks much better.
Apparently you thought everything would look better somewhere else, huh?
Well, I didn't throw anything out.
That's a relief.
The room just didn't seem lived in.
I lived here.
But now it seems much homier. More like a living room, you know?
Always felt like a living room to me.
You hate it.
No, I just don't think you should be moving furniture around in your condition. That's not the smartest thing to do.
Well, I moved everything one piece at a time. I was very careful.
It's not the point.
I know the point is I had no business moving your furniture in your home. It was very presumptuous of me to think that since I live here, it's my home, too.
Victoria, you have to understand that I'm a creature of habit. I'm used to having everything in a certain place. It might not be the best place, but it worked for me.
Boy, I think this is our first fight. I'm going to move everything back.
No, leave it where it is. I'll get used to it.
No, I don't want you to get used to it. I want you to like it.
One step at a time.
Can't believe I'm acting like such a fool.
Maybe you just didn't want me to feel alone. Where's the phone?
There.
Hello? Yeah, when? I'll be there.
Don't tell me you're leaving.
Gina's called a family meeting at the courthouse.
No lunch?
Forget lunch. This is what I think it is. We'll have cause to celebrate tonight.
Well, your lovely wife is being brought up by her very own guard.
Mason's on his way over.
Oh, great. All you Capwells here in one room. You know, you never know when lightning is going to strike. I don't mean you there, Brandon, buddy.
Keith, do you have any idea what this is all about?
Well, Gina wasn't specific, but if she wants you all here, it has to have something to do with the tape, doesn't it?
You're in on this with her, aren't you? Come on, Timmons, aren't you? I mean, another one of her low-life plans than yours?
Ah, come on, CC. Keep a higher profile for Brandon here. Be optimistic. Assume she's coming here to give you the tape.
You'd hate that, wouldn't you?
Doesn't make any difference to me.
Oh, sure doesn't.
Ah, I do not speak with forked tongue, Kimosabe, you know? I thought that the tape would eventually come out. Either way, I get publicity. I get publicity for nailing your felonious daughter. I get publicity for clearing an innocent socialite. Either way, I'm in the roses. Next stop is the governor's mansion.
Oh, you've already reached the pinnacle of your political career, Timmons. I'm going to see to that.
She couldn't have the tape on her, that's obvious. It's not hidden in this office. So I don't think we're going to get it today.
Well, you know how clever the girl can be. Here, specifications of the charges against young Jeffrey. Brandon, come on, let's give your mommy a proper beating outside of you. Give me that bear. Give your mom a proper bear hug. Come on.
No, thank you.
Where are you going, Gina?
Second chance you wanted? We're both gonna get it.
Hello, Augusta? Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a surprise. Warren gave me your number. How are you? Yeah, fine. Oh, Warren's terrific, yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad that he came back here again. Yeah, Minx is fine. Everybody's fine. Oh. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. Well, she's a lovely woman, and I'm very lucky to have her in my life. I'm glad you're happy, too. Goodbye, Augusta.
Hi. I'm sorry. I probably should have called first.
No, but he just left.
Fine. Do you think you could give these documents to him?
No, not at all. No problem.
Thank you.
Why don't you come in?
All right.
Come on.
A little redecorating?
Yes, I did that, but my husband wasn't too crazy about it.
I see. Well, these papers are regarding Jeffrey Conrad, and I'll be defending him.
Oh, yes, Mason told me all about it on the way back from the courthouse. He's very grateful for your help.
Oh, it was really no big deal.
Not according to Mason. You're one of the best lawyers in town.
He said that?
Yes.
Well, I consider that a compliment, coming from someone as talented as Mason.
Well, you two have a mutual admiration society going on. Did he mention to you that he'd like you to take over his cases while we're out of town on our honeymoon?
No, he didn't. Are you planning to be gone long?
Oh, we're not sure yet. We still have some loose ends to tie up.
Well, I will certainly do whatever I can to help.
Thanks. Oh. Excuse me. Yes.
Mrs. Capwell?
Yes, that's me.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
I need your signature.
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. Here you go. This is for you as well.
Great.
Have a good day now.
Yes, you too. Let's see. It's from Mason.
They're very beautiful.
Yeah, aren't they?
Thank you for taking care of that. I really have to be going.
Okay, see you soon. My apologies for acting the fool. We'll contact the real estate agent tomorrow. Love, Mason.
Jeffrey, when I called your name in the hallway, I know you heard me. Why didn't you answer? Or at least look at me? We don't have to hide anything anymore. I'm counting the hours until we're both out of here, together again, so we can pick up where we left off. I miss you more than you can know. Until I see you. Love, Kelly.
Ben Franklin. With one of these, you can buy 2 or 3 of those bears and still have enough to bribe little girls, you know what I mean?
No, thank you.
Give me
No, thank you.
Oh!
What are you doing?
I'm just playing some games.
Stop it. Here, Mom.
Thanks, sweetheart. Look, why don't you go over and stand with the nice policewoman over there while I talk to your father for a while?
Okay.
You're really gonna give this all away?
You know the wonderful thing about doing something that's not illegal, Keith? Nobody can stop you.
All right, Gina. Why don't you tell us what it's all about?
Don't worry, CC. I don't intend to take up much of your precious time. I have learned some things in the past few months.
You're right, Gina. If you're going to tell us everything you've learned, it should take no time at all.
Now, I may surprise you, Mason. People can learn and change. I've changed in the last few hours.
You sound like Mason between the time he found religion and the 15 minutes that he lost.
I talked to Kelly today for a long time. I gotta hand it to her. She doesn't take after the rest of the family. She made sense. And she treated me like I was a human being. You know, yesterday I was willing to spend the next 10 years of my life in prison. And I was happy to do it because I knew that I could make you all at least as miserable as I was. But Kelly made me realize that there's no way I can be happy when I'm making everybody around me miserable. Nobody in this room or anywhere else has ever been willing to give me a second chance. But I've realized now I can give it to myself, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, people. That's right. I'm going to hand over the tape, Cece. I'm going to exchange the tape for my freedom. But I expect you to drop all the charges immediately, and I'm also willing to give you a divorce. Of course, I expect you to go up with a cash payment of half of your income during the time period we were married.
Well, I will be happy to drop the charges, and I will be most happy to divorce you. But that's the end of the deal. You came in with nothing. You go out with nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing! Furthermore, those stock certificates that you bought with the thousands of dollars that you robbed from me through the computer, you're going to sign them over to me. Where are they, Timmons? Evidence?
Wait a minute. That's not fair.
Not fair. You want to talk about fair? How about we dredge up all those wonderful stunts you pulled on us in the last 4 months, hmm? How about that?
But, Cece, we had a deal.
Which I have reason to believe that you violated constantly and carnally with that district attorney standing behind you. You just signed this as a waiver of agreement. You waive the settlement. You give me back the tape. You walk out of here a free woman. That's the only deal I make with you. Sign it.
I advise you to take it, Gina.
Shut up, both of you. All right, I'll sign it. Yes, sir. You can have it all, Here. You can have it all, Cece. Including the tape. Tell Kelly congratulations for me.